Hello and welcome to The Drop, the official podcast of the 130th Airlift Wing. I'm Senior Master Sgt. Eugene Christ from your 130th Public Affairs. The Air National Guard Aeromedical Evacuation Squadron is a unique and significant part of our nation's medical mobility resource. Its mission is to provide time-sensitive, mission-critical, en route care to patients to and between medical treatment facilities. The Air National Guard has 9 AE squadrons, and the Air Force Reserve Command has 18 AE squadrons. Combined with ground medical units, the Air National Guard and Reserve account for 70% of the AE forces supporting the AE system. Today, 4 airmen assigned to the 167th Aeromedical Evacuation Squadron are with us on the pod. 2 of the newest members and 2 veteran medical professionals. Joining me now are Airman First Class Christian Hughes, a flight medic, and Captain Jordan Gardo, a flight nurse.
Gentlemen, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having us.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Captain Gardo, can you talk a little bit about why you chose the AES career field?
Excuse me. I was prior Army enlisted. I was in the Army National Guard in the dust-off unit in Parkersburg for 12 years. And then I got my nursing degree, and I was kind of trying to figure out what to do next, for my career, because I knew I'd been in that long. I definitely want to at least go to my 20, and I didn't really want to do nursing in the Army side of things. It didn't really seem to appeal to me. And I had a friend that knew about what was going on over here at AE. She kind of told me about some of the opportunities, and it sounded like a pretty good gig. I'd get to commission. They were offering a incentive bonus at the particular time, and it sounded like a good opportunity to get some traveling done, and just further, obviously also get to commission, and just further my career. So that's what I decided to make the jump.
Aaron Hughes, how about you?
Yeah, so when I originally enlisted, I went to the recruiter, of course, and just got a list of basically all the jobs that were in high demand. So I knew I wanted something medical, and I kind of narrowed that list down to all the medical jobs that were there. And being a flight medic was the one that really appealed to me for travel and kind of the idea of bringing, our injured troops back home, from the battlefield. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Captain, can you talk about your military educational benefits that you've utilized as part of your military service?
Yeah, sure. When I went through nursing school, I was on the Army side of the house. But a lot of those benefits, just because it's West Virginia National Guard, it's it's still the same. But I used originally state tuition assistance, which paid 100% of tuition. Excuse me. And then I also used Montgomery GI Bill, and then after I got more active duty time with deployments, I was using post 9/11 GI Bill. So GI Bill paid for a ton of my schooling, and I'm now in school to become a nurse anesthetist, and I used just the last of my GI Bill. I just used the remainder that I had for my last semester. Well, my first semester, but last semester. Yeah.
Aaron Hughes, how about you?
Yeah, about the same. So mainly just been using that state tuition assistance that I got, for hitting this critical man job. But yeah, and get that GI Bill a little bit too, so that's money in the pocket. It doesn't go straight to the school.
So either of you, have you your AE training helped you in your civilian careers?
So mine's a little bit backwards. Because I already had my civilian career established and then came here, so it's more like my civilian career prepared me for this more so than the other way around. Of course, there's knowledge that you learn here too that you can transfer over, but the bulk of my experience has been kind of the other way around. but of course there's still tons to learn, as far as flight physiology, because you're used to taking care of patients, but you're not used to taking care of patients at altitude in a plane with stresses of flight. So there's tons to learn, but definitely felt prepared coming here by my civilian experience.
Airman Hughes?
Yeah, so I think, so I'm still currently in school, so, but I think the patient care aspect of that, that hands-on care, direct with the patient there, is definitely gaining experience in that for my future career, but
I think that's it's kind of a little bit of like a reversed situation between the nurses and the techs and the officers and enlisted, because we have to have our experience coming in, and then it seems like they get a lot of their experience here and then progress more in their civilian career.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, as you two are some of the newest members of the Aeromedical Evacuation Squadron, what are some of the things you're looking forward to, and as your career progresses?
Let me go first. Let's see. Some things I'm looking forward to. Being in school right now, I'm kind of locked down, so it's tough to take advantage of the travel opportunities. And the cross training and stuff. Some people just went down to Key West. There's a Peru trip coming up. So I'll definitely be looking forward to eventually getting to take advantage of some of those.
yeah, travel opportunities for me, because even just traveling, to the West Coast, never been to the West Coast before. So that's a cool thing that this job gives you. So definitely looking forward to traveling more.
So what would you tell other medical professionals that may be listening to this? Like, what would you say to them as far as like to encourage them to join the AE squadron or to look into the career field? Sir, you want to go first?
I would say that there is, as you will get out of it as much as you put into it. If you want to get a lot out of it, then the opportunity is totally there. If you don't, then you can just kind of skate by. But why would you want to do that necessarily? And be patient, because the process to come in and get trained up and get dates for schooling, it is long, and time consuming, confusing at times, but it seems like it can definitely pay off if you wanted to. Yeah, I mean, I don't know of other careers, honestly, in the military. I've been in for almost 17 years now, and I don't know of other careers in the military that allow these kind of opportunities, financial incentives, freedom as well, and just I guess just experiences in general, and also we talk about the travel and stuff, but it can be rewarding too, actually doing your job and taking care of patients, and
Sure. Airman Hughes?
Yeah, so I think the flight aspect of it, especially, a lot of people can, not knocking, just ground nurses or medics, but the flight opportunities, I think, is something that is really intriguing to a lot of people, especially for me, because it's not a thing that a lot of people get to do, So that was a big one for me personally.
I forget what percentage it is, but somebody told me one time what percentage of the Air Force actually flies, and it's super low. Like, you wouldn't really think that. People think Air Force, and they're like, "Oh, you fly."
Oh yeah, we're all pilots, right?
Yeah.
So, Captain, can you talk a little bit about the pipeline that you went through to become? I assume you're fully qualified, or you're on the road to become a fully qualified nurse.
You sure you want me to talk about that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So I came in December of 2019, and we all know what happened right after that.
Sure.
In 2020, that was COVID times. So stories that I hear are prior to those times. It wasn't uncommon to just get all of your school dates all in a row, clean. You start here, you end here 5.5, 6 months later, maybe. And then you come to the unit, you're pretty much ready to go. That was not the experience for me, unfortunately, mostly because of COVID. And at the time, they were doing an aircraft changeover where we were going from H models to J model C-130s. So there was a lot of variables and factors that made my pipeline take a little bit of extra time. But mine looked like I went to officer training school in Alabama at Maxwell Air Force Base, and then that was a 5-week course. And after that, I came back and waited for another school, which was the FNAET school that we go to with the techs as well. That was, what's that? That was a month, right?
Yeah, it's a month.
Yeah, that was a month. And I did not get to do, I'm drawing a blank. FTU, thank you. I did not get to do FTU at the schoolhouse.
What does FTU stand for?
Is it
Formal Training Unit, something like that. But they changed it to AEIQ now, so Aeromedical Evacuation Initial Qualification.
Yeah, so that's the school that you go to right after FNAET, which is that's your ground training. FNAET is your month-long ground training. You do some simulations in a fake aircraft, and then this is all at Wright-Patterson, and then you would go right into the FTU or AEIQ right afterwards, and that's another month. I had to do FTU back here at home station, and apparently they hadn't done that with a nurse in quite some time, and they were doing the changeover, so the flying opportunities were really slim. So
Sure.
it was hard to get that done. It took a lot of time. But finally it happened, and then finally I went to SEER school out in Washington. That was what was that? How long was that? 13?
About 2 weeks.
Yeah, about 2 weeks, 13 days, something like that. Yeah, and then after that, you're good to go.
Airman Hughes, you want to talk a little bit about your pipeline experience?
Yeah, so I started out at Lackland Air Force Base with basic training. Think they've changed it. I think it was 7.5 weeks, something like that. And then you go straight from there right down the road to Fort Sam Houston for your initial medic training. I think that was around 2 to 3 months, something in there. And then after that, you go to what's called a phase 2, which is basically you go to an active duty kind of MTF. And you do like clinicals, so that's like your hands-on with the patients right there doing your skills. That was a month. After you graduate there, you get your med patch. Then I came back here for phase 3, which is just more kind of on-the-job training. That was, I think that was about another month or so. And then after that, I went straight to the flight school like Captain Gardo was talking about for 2 months or so. I did my AEIQ at Wright-Patterson instead of here. So that was a very, I want to say, it was very difficult because everything in that month we had to accomplish within that month, and it was very fast-paced. So they were really honest, the instructors. Then after there, let's see, came back here for a little bit and then got orders for SEER last December, actually. So I'm a really, really new flyer. Yeah, after that, I've just been doing some local trainers around here and getting fully qualified. The training timeline can be very lengthy, but to me, it's worth it in the end. You get a pretty cool job.
Joining me now are Senior Master Sergeant Jordan Killebrew, an Aeromedical Evacuation Technician, and Major Kyla Groves, a flight nurse.
Thank you and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks. It's cool to be here.
Major, can you talk a little bit about what keeps you here in AES?
I think what really keeps me here is the friendships that I've made. These people have become my best friends. I speak to them on a regular basis, and I just like the camaraderie that this unit has to offer. And, you know, I really enjoy being a flight nurse and getting to fly, and we've gone all sorts of places all over this country and multiple other countries, and you don't often get that opportunity, especially in a civilian sector, to say you've traveled to multiple countries with your best friends.
Sure. Sir?
Yeah, I would echo what the Major said. When I came to Aeromed, I didn't know I would pick up a second family, and that's kind of what it is. You know, you get to come to work, but it's with people that you've known for 10, 15 years now, and me for over 20 years. I've known some of these people, and it's awesome to still get to see them, know their families, and come to work. So
Major, can you talk a little bit about how AES either enhances or helps your civilian career?
So I'm a critical care nurse in my civilian sector, and I get to fly a lot of patients here. So it's kind of like you see some of the same sort of like injuries. So it just makes it, you know, I get to bring both worlds together and still do nursing on both sides. Because, you know, a lot of times when you come to military, you have a different job than your actual civilian career field. And I get to bring both those together.
Sure. Sir?
For me, it's a little bit different. I started off as a tech working in ER, and then later for the VA as a technician in telehealth. And this career field actually motivated me and inspired me to go back to nursing school. So I now work as a critical care nurse in the ICU for the Veterans Affairs. So, I mean, it's been greatly beneficial to be here, be around nurses like the Major here, and they've kind of led me and inspired me to try and better myself as far as civilian career goes.
Can each of you talk about some of your deployment experiences and give our listeners an idea of what that's like?
Yeah, absolutely. I just returned from a deployment from Germany. Was there for 4 months. I got to travel all over Germany and all over that area while I was there. And also, you know, we went to Africa, to Middle East. I got to go to all sorts of different places on this last deployment, you know, and I'm still with all the people that I work with here. So it was just interesting for us to travel and be able to see all that different stuff. And that's been my only deployment.
For me, so I've been here a long time. So I've deployed a couple times and to different locations. And it's the benefit is you get to experience different cultures. You get to see different places. Like even within the CONUS United States, being deployed at Andrews Air Force Base, traveling to the West Coast, traveling to Hawaii, traveling up and down the East Coast, getting to, you know, see different spots of even our own country was pretty cool. But being, like Major said, being exposed to European culture, being deployed to Germany, you get to go, you know, if you have the downtime, you get to see different things. You get to go to Switzerland, you get to go to France, you know. You're not just referencing pictures in a book. You get to actually go to these places and see these, you know, landscapes and iconic buildings. So it's pretty cool.
So my deployment to Afghanistan in 2018, I got to fly, actually Chief Lyons was there, and I got to fly an A mission back from Afghanistan into Germany and got to kind of see what you guys do in real life. Can you describe your job, like what you actually do?
So we get patients from smaller places and bring them to a bigger, larger hospital. That's our goal, is to continue your care, move you back, get you back to the United States. So you're caring for patients in the air as if you were caring for them in like a regular hospital. We're just like a baby, you know, a mobile hospital in the air with 2 nurses and 3 techs.
Anything to add on that there?
Yeah, I think as the techs, from the tech standpoint, it's slightly different. Still the same mission. Our expertise just happens to lie with equipment and aircraft interface. The nurses are just as well versed as we are, but our main focus has to deal with, you know, movement of assets as far as organizing how people are going to line up when they're going to come off and go on the plane, setting up the plane and stuff like that. So,
can you talk a little bit about how it doesn't really matter the airframe, really, that you guys can just walk it onto an airplane and turn it into basically a flying hospital?
Yeah, if it's in our skill set and if we've been signed off and trained on that specific aircraft, usually we can walk on to just about any aircraft with the capabilities that we bring as far as oxygen requirements and electrical requirements, or converting electricity to its amperage and frequency that we can use for our hospital equipment. It's pretty cool to be able to do that, and I think it's a valuable asset to the Guard and to the Air Force. So,
Ma'am, anything?
Yeah, no, I'd like to echo that, we can take care of patients anywhere as long as our equipment can plug in, so
Sure.
we're ready to go wherever it may be.
What would you say to someone who is currently in a medical profession you would trying to encourage them to join AES? Or what would you say to someone out there that may be listening to this that is in some medical field to encourage them to join?
By all means, this has been one of the best decisions I've ever made. You get to serve your country, and you also are doing what you do in the civilian sector. You get to bring your knowledge bases here, and then you get to, you're being put into leadership roles where a lot of times in your civilian world, if you're not in management, you don't have much leadership. But here, they're constantly pushing you to be a better leader, to help your troops. I just think it's a great place for you to grow, all over in your, nursing career and for yourself. And you learn a lot about what you can and can't do about your life. When I first got here, I was kind of questioning, am I going to be able to survive this? But, now I'm surviving and thriving, and I love it.
Anything, Dad?
Yeah, if you're thinking about joining, or you're looking for a challenge, or maybe let's say you don't even have a skill set yet because you're a tech or you're new to healthcare, this would be a great experience for you to get some hands-on training, to get, exposure to different cultures, or just maybe different approaches about how we provide healthcare. And, getting training for free is a valuable asset in itself, and getting trained on, aircraft and some of this medical equipment you might never ever be exposed to unless you were in this given situation. So if you're thinking about it, you should do it. It's definitely worth it. It's been a great 20 plus years for me, and it could be a career for you as well.
And that's going to do it for this episode of The Drop. For more information about the 130th Airlift Wing, visit us on the web at www.130aw.ang.af.mil. And follow us on all major social media platforms. Additionally, you can find us in the skies delivering freedom with courage. This is Senior Master Sergeant Eugene Christ reminding you to stay ready to go.